Hello friends, Mandar here. I'm back with another video. Let's talk about December 2025 Visa Bulletin. Now there has been some movement in EB2 and EB3 category and we are going to talk about it. I'm also going to answer some common questions, and as a special topic for today, I have a guest from Manifest Law who's going to talk about legal immigration, employment-based immigration, specifically what they can offer for my channel members. So don't miss this video, watch this video until the end, and let's get started. If you are here for the first time, welcome. My name is Mandar and I make immigration and lifestyle related videos for US and Canada. I'm not an immigration lawyer, so anything that I say on this video or on my channel is for information purpose only. And for your specific immigration needs, before you take any action, you should hire a competent immigration lawyer. Now check out the links in the description because those are affiliate links and the channel might get a little bit of a commission. And while you are down there, hit the like button, put some comment and watch the video until the end because I'm going to talk to an immigration attorney that I highly recommend. Now, just so you know, the government shutdown is no longer in effect. Now, the government is back in full force. They have their agencies moving forward with the cases such as Department of Labor. Now, they are processing the cases, those PERM cases, those LCA cases and so on. So that is a good news. Another important thing is I keep getting a lot of questions on H1B 100,000 fees. If you haven't checked my previous video, do check them because I give full explanation in each one of them. I'll continue to give clarifications to my viewers. If you want to get in touch with me, book some time with me through Calendly. And now let's look at the Visa Bulletin for December 2025. We'll compare it with November 2025 Visa Bulletin and see what has changed. I will also do some prediction what might happen in the Visa Bulletin in the next few months. So watch that and then watch the video until the end because I will be talking to Manifest Law Firm and what they can offer to Wisdom Trends viewers. Now, as usual, we'll compare the current months, which is November 2025 Visa Bulletin, which is on the left, to the December 2025 Visa Bulletin, which is on the right. Now we'll start with the family-based section first and then go into the employment-based. I'll give you my predictive analysis for the next couple of months and we'll also talk to Manifest Law. Now here is the chart A, which is the final action chart for family-sponsored preference category. So as on the left-hand side, you can see the November Visa Bulletin where you'll see the F1 dates have not changed for final action for all chargeability China and India, but they have changed for Mexico, which is from 22nd of November 2005 to 1st of March 2006, which is a significant movement of almost 4 months for Mexico. Philippines, the date has remained the same. F2A has also remained the same for all chargeability China and India and also remained the same for Mexico and Philippines. Now F2B category, it has remained the same for all chargeability China, India. It has remained the same for all chargeability China, India and Mexico, but it has moved forward a little bit for Philippines, which is from 1st of October 2012 to 8th of October 2012. Now for F3, as you can see, for all chargeability China and India, it has not moved. Mexico has also remained the same, but for Philippines again, the date has moved forward from 22nd of September 2004 to 1st of November 2004. Now for F4, dates have remained the same for all chargeability China and India. Mexico has also remained the same and Philippines has, however, moved forward from 22nd of March 2006 to 15th of July 2006. Now let's look at the filing date chart for family-based section. I don't expect anything to change here, but let's quickly look at it. For F1 category, all the dates, all chargeability China, India, Mexico and Philippines, everything remains the same for F1. For F2A, I see a progression of dates for F2A category for all chargeability China, India moved from 22nd of October 2025 to 22nd of November 2025. Also for Mexico, the same dates. For F2A, I see a progression of date for all chargeability China, India, Mexico, Philippines. So everybody, the date has progressed from 22nd of October 2025 to 22nd of November 2025. Now for F2B category, the dates have remained the same. I don't see any changes. For F3 category, the dates have remained the same throughout. And F4 category also, the dates have remained exactly the same. So no changes except the F2A category, which is moved forward by almost a month. Now let's go on to final action chart for employment based category. Now here we can see some movement. Let's look at EB1 category. All chargeability remains current. For China, the date has progressed from 22nd of December 2022 to 22nd of January 2023. So by one full month of progression for China. Now for India also, the date has progressed from 15th of February 2022 to 15th of March 2022. Finally, we have some progression for India as well. Mexico and Philippines remain current. Now EB2 category, first all chargeability has progressed from 1st of December 2023 to 1st of February 2024, which is great. For China, it has progressed from 1st of April 2021 to 1st of June 2021. For India, it has progressed from 1st of April 2013 to 15th of May 2013, which is 1.5 month of progression for EB2 India in the final action chart, which is great. Mexico and Philippines has also progressed from 1st of December 2023 to 1st of February 2024. So this was as expected for me in terms of EB2 progression for India, about a month and a half, which is consistent with what we will continue to see every couple of months, as I will mention in my prediction video. Now EB3 category has remained the same for all chargeability. No change. 1st of April 2023, the date remains the same for all chargeability. For China, it has progressed from 1st of March 2021 to 1st of April 2021. For India, the date has progressed from 22nd of August 2013 to 22nd of September 2013. So one full month of progression in the final action chart for EB3 India, which is consistent with what I was thinking. Couple of weeks of progression every month. For Mexico, date has not changed, and for Philippines, the date has changed for EB3 by 15 days from 1st of April 2023 to 15th of April 2023. Other workers category has also progressed 15th of July 2021 to 1st of August 2021. For China, it has progressed from just by 8 days. For India, it has progressed by about a month from 22nd August 2013 to 22nd September 2013. Same for Mexico and Philippines, the date has progressed by one full month. Fourth preference category dates have also progressed by 2 months. Fourth preference category dates have progressed across the board by 2 months from 1st of July 2020 to 1st of September 2020. So that is a good news. Now, certain religious workers category has also become now available, although there is a priority date. It is now at 1st of September 2020, which is exactly as fourth preference category. EB5 unreserved category, which is entirely current. EB5 category, which is entirely current except the unreserved part for China and India. For that category, for China, the dates have progressed from 8th of December 2015 and to 15th of July 2016. And for India, the dates have progressed from 1st of February 2021 to 1st of July 2021. So that is good news. The rest of the chart for EB5 remains current. Now let's look at the final filing date chart for employment based category. Now, as you can see, for the filing date chart, which is the chart that USCIS is continuing to use, by the way, for filing of 485. This will be for December. For January Visa Bulletin, maybe they will flip over to the final action chart. We'll talk about that. But for now, USCIS is still using filing date chart. So if your date has become current in the December Visa Bulletin, you can start preparing to file your 485. So first preference category EB1, all chargeability remains current. China, India, Mexico, Philippines, all the dates are the same, no changes in the dates. EB2 preference category, no change for all chargeability. It remains at 15th of July 2024. For China, it remains at 1st of December 2021. India, it remains at 1st of December 2013. Mexico and Philippines also remain the same as the current month. EB3 category also across the board, I am not seeing any date change and no date change for the rest of the chart that I'm seeing throughout the table. So I'm not going to go through all these dates. So filing date chart is not expected to change for a couple of months at least. I would say it will not change. Now let's talk about some predictions. Now here's the analysis that I have done. I have put all those dates in the spreadsheet for EB1, EB2 and EB3 preference categories, specifically for India, because those are the most backlog dates. Now I go back to 1st of October 2024 and see what the trend says. And as you can see, if you don't see a color change in the date, that means the dates have remained same month over month. The only time they change is when when I highlight them in green. So as you can see, for filing date chart, the dates for a certain year, at least last year, the dates haven't changed for EB1 at all for filing date chart. So as you can see, they were stuck at 15th of April 2022, but they changed on October 1st of 2023. So now I'm not expecting this date for EB1 filing date chart for EB1 category for India to change from 15th of April 2023 any further towards the end of the year. They have made significant advance in this date already in October Visa Bulletin. So that date is going to remain the same. Now, as you can see, there are a couple of changes for EB2 category in the filing date chart throughout the year. So they changed the date on 1st of October 2024. We can expect to see the change or forward change in April as it was done last year, and then again in October. Now, if you look at EB3, however, has changed only once throughout, and it was only changed in October. So throughout the year last year, the EB3 filing date chart was the same. Now we can continue to see the same trend going forward. But for final action, as you can see throughout the year, you will see consistent improvement in the dates or forward progression to catch up to the filing date chart. So usually final action is lagging behind the filing chart dates, and it catches up to the filing chart date by the end of the year. EB1 has made very small progression year over year. In fact, EB1 has not changed since last October until this December. This is the first time in a long while EB1 final action chart date has changed from 15th of February to 15th of March. So I'm not going to expect any change going forward in the prediction for January, February, and March for EB1 final action. I'll expect to see some forward movement for EB2 and EB3. So EB2 will go up until 15th of July 2013, and EB3 will go up until October of 2013. So that is my prediction. As I said in my past videos, I'm expecting to see 6 to 8 months of total progression in the filing date chart by the end of the year. So by the end of fiscal year 2026, we would expect to see the dates coming somewhere around end of year 2014 for EB2 and EB3. So that is my prediction. If you want to talk to me about any specific question, you can book a call with me on Calendly. Find that link in the description. Now let me introduce you to Manifest Law, and let's talk. And now I want to answer one of the most common questions that I get on my channel, which is, which attorney should I hire? I want to take a moment to introduce you to Manifest Law, a law firm that focuses exclusively on legal immigration. Their mission is simple but powerful: to bring world's brightest innovators, professionals, and creators to America, legally and successfully. And they do that by putting both clients' and lawyers' best interest at heart with full transparency, accountability, and experience. Manifest Law works with individuals across a wide range of visa categories such as O1, H1, TN, E-Visa, J-Visa, L-Visa, and many more. But what matters most for my channel and for my viewers, for those of you watching right now, is that they specialize in employment-based immigration, such as green cards, H1, L1, and other visas that are most relevant to skilled professionals. One thing I really appreciate about Manifest Law is their emphasis on accuracy and completeness. They help prepare strong petitions to give you the best possible chance of success. And if you are already in a complicated situation, you may have received an RFE or NOID or need support with the consular processing, they can guide you through those challenges. Another major advantage is that Manifest Law has an ex-immigration appeals officer on their team. That means you can get insight from someone who understands the internal review process from the inside, a huge added value when you are trying to present a petition that stands up to the USCIS scrutiny. Now, if you are a Wisdom Trends viewer, pay close attention. When you use my custom sign-up link in the description, you will get special pricing on EB1, O1, and several other visa categories, plus additional discounts. The link is created specifically for Wisdom Trends audience, so feel free to set up a free consultation with Manifest Law. I always talk about hiring a competent immigration lawyer on my channel and my videos, and I only choose to recommend those I trust. Check out the link in the description, book your consultation, and take the next step with full confidence going with Manifest Law. Hi Nicole, I want to introduce you to my channel members. I have a channel called Wisdom Trends, and most of my audience is employment-based immigration. So they look at employment-based green cards such as EB1, EB2, EB3. They have a lot of H1B needs, H1B transfers, amendments, L1, O1, and all kinds of visas. One of the most important questions that I get from my audience is, can you recommend us an immigration attorney? And I always find it interesting because I want to help them and I want to know whoever I'm recommending. So I really want to be comfortable with who so that's why I want to introduce you to my audience. If you can give us a little bit of introduction on what your company does, Manifest Law, and what kind of immigration aspects do you specialize in, that will be great to my audience. Yeah, go ahead.
100%. So, hi, I'm Nicole Ganara. I'm the principal immigration attorney at Manifest Law. So, what is Manifest Law? So, of course, we're an immigration law firm, but I do think that we're a little bit more than that. We're very much tech enabled. We focus a lot on being much more proactive than reactive than a lot of firms can be. And what does that mean for a lot of you or foreign nationals that do encounter the US immigration process? It's that what we are trying to achieve is building people's futures here in the United States. So it's not just about the singular case or even the visa approvals. It's really mapping out the journey of what it takes to come from another country to being here in the US, whether it's to work, reside, remain, and study here in the United
Mhm.
States. It's a lot of those facets and aspects. So think of it as a very holistic firm. We really do everything that we can to pull in outside resources or even internal resources to support your case. It's not just about the filing, it's everything that goes around it to evidence development, all the way through the end of getting you offboarded into that green card in hand.
That's right. That's right. And one of the most important things that my audience is also worried about is which law firm should they go to? It's really important for them because some people give me examples of how their immigration case gets denied because of some technical errors by the lawyer and law firm. So they are very cautious about who they go to. So that's the reason I wanted to kind of hear from you. What are the things that differentiate Manifest Law than many other big law firms out there?
So I think I can do you one better, which is what I focus on telling a lot of prospective clients or just
Hmm.
individuals of the general public. It isn't even what makes Manifest different, but having like this focus on what I call radical transparency. So I'm going to be transparent with your audience. Just because I may be a good immigration attorney or Manifest is tech forward and we're very proactive doesn't necessarily mean that in every single circumstance we're going to be the best law firm for you, right? I always try to tell every single person when they're trying to figure out who should be my immigration provider, there's the question of, do they have any experience in my industry? Have they ever advocated for individuals in my industry? Because what's the point in hiring someone to do an O1 for you if they have zero knowledge of what it means to be a database architect? Right? Because
Hmm.
they're going to need to be able to explain very carefully the significance of that role within your particular field or company that you're working for. I think what Manifest does do its best at, or where we put our best foot forward, is essentially putting you in front of those attorneys or a series of attorneys that would give you those industry insights or have experience in advocating for individuals who are in a similar space. But again, in being very honest with your crowd, right, it's 100% meeting the attorneys that you feel a lot of trust in that do have that experience or knowledge in your industry to best advocate for you.
Great. No, that's excellent. Would you tell us what kind of visas and green card categories do you specialize in, or do you support all of them, or are there any particular areas that you consider yourself to be front runners in terms of immigration
For
law firm?
sure.
Yeah.
We do support the wide gamut of business and what we call talent immigration,
Hmm.
right? I think one area that we don't really focus on is asylum cases cases or humanitarian related parole cases. One thing that I will say that I would like to think that we're the front runners on are in talent based immigration for green cards, whether it's extraordinary ability green cards like the EB1A or for national interest waivers like the EB2 NIW. I think we're very fluent in those spaces and we're able to make the arguments that really hit really well with the government. And I think it also drives back to industry levels of expertise. We do have a very strong or wide array of attorneys that work within our particular network. And a lot of that focus is making sure that you do have someone that deeply understands or can deeply understand
Hmm.
what it is that you do to a level of relevancy to argue it to the government.
Absolutely. Now, I'm glad you mentioned EB1A and EB2 and IW because many of my audience are from backlog countries who have a long wait for their green card for their priority date to become current. What is the advice that you will give in terms of especially in this scenario where immigration rules are changing on a daily basis and everybody is kind of anxious and feeling like what's going to happen next and all. So I know from the law firm perspective, what would you have to tell my audience in terms of how they can approach law firm like Manifest?
So with Manifest, we have a few different ways that you can reach out to us, whether it's via emails or our social media. We have a pretty large communications team,
Hmm.
right? But I want to like really emphasize like what is the best way to engage with a law firm? Like what is the best
Hmm.
way to get your full I wouldn't even say bang for your buck, but like your time, the value of your time, right? So unlike a lot of other firms, we do provide free consultations. So at least
Hmm.
the time is free and you're not expending a cost. But if you want to maximize that conversation that you have with the attorney, whether it's like 30 minutes long or so, always come a little bit prepared, right?
Hmm.
Whether it's like your resume or if we send you a quiz, filling it out truly to your best of your ability, right? It cuts down the amount of time that we spend sitting there trying to grab the information from you when really what you're looking for is efficiency, right? I want to know the solutions. I want the answers to my legal questions. So the more that we know ahead of time, the better it is for everyone involved. So whether it's you approaching Manifest or approaching any other firm, being more prepared for that conversation, for having your resume or your previous case history, any elements that you feel would be helpful for us to assess. And of course, we also send those lists ahead of time. Will be a much more powerful conversation and more meaningful conversation for yourself.
That's an excellent point, Nicole, that you can be very well prepare yourself before coming to your call so that you can save that time in explaining your situation and spend more time in getting answers to the questions. That's an excellent point. Um,
100%.
yeah.
I think one thing to add is that just as much as the attorney wants to set an agenda, you also have every right to ask the questions that need to be asked, right? Coming into those conversations, you should have at least three main questions that you want to have
Mhm.
resolved by the end of the call. The earlier we know about it, the better, but you should also be prepared in the middle of the conversation to ask those questions.
That's right. That's an excellent point. Um, Now, one final topic because this is a Visa Bulletin video that I'm having, and I did some predictions in terms of what could happen in the next couple of months. So now, as you know, EB1 had been EB1s, particularly India, we are talking about, had been stuck for a while, and now it has moved forward a little bit by about a year in filing date chart. I know you are doing a lot of EB1A cases. What's your speculation? Are there a lot of people who are upgrading their petitions from EB2, EB3 to EB1, or what is the trend? I just wanted to know your perspective.
Definitely, as a firm and also as being a practitioner in this field, there's been a lot of requests, let's say, not
Hmm.
necessarily to directly convert, but to apply for an EB1A because the backlogs are so immense, even for the EB2 category, especially for individuals who are born in China or in India, right? So I will agree that if you're telling me, hey, Nicole, from anecdotal evidence or even evidence
Hmm.
from other firms that we've talked to, right, or have relationships with, that inflow of the sheer number of people looking to do an EB1A, whether it's brand new or in
Hmm.
absorbing previous priority dates, is much higher. And I can see that potentially impacting the availability of EB1As in the long run or the increase of those backlogs. And I think that's the reason why we're very much emphatic in many different ways on achieving as soon as possible that Q card rather than waiting way too long.
Hmm.
Because I treat the Visa Bulletin very similarly to the DMV, right? The earlier that you
Right.
have your ticket, right, the earlier that your place in line is going to be called up for you to go to the window and get that driver's license. And in this
Yeah.
case, it would really be the green card.
That's right. That's right. Any other tips you have in terms of the visa bulletin for my audience? What is the progression that you are expecting to see? You coming from a law firm, you look at these cases day in and day out. So, any tips or any information for the audience?
I think what people have a tendency to forget is the cross chargeability rules, right? So I always double check this every single time a consult comes
Hmm.
in because I don't like it when we make the direct assumption that, oh, they're born in India, they're born in China,
Hmm.
like that's it. Like the next logical question should be, are you married? And if you are married, where was your spouse born? Because I actually had a client who came in who never told their attorneys of record, or it was never really brought up through because their company was the one who sponsored their EB2 NIW a while ago, right? What was the birthplace of your wife? And birthplace of the wife was in Canada, not in India as it was assumed. And all of a sudden, through cross chargeability, that person was current on the EB2
Yeah,
NIW.
it changes
Right?
everything.
It
Yeah.
changes everything. So I
Yeah.
think it's just a gentle reminder to your audience. Just double check cross chargeability. To just explain it very simply, if you are married, you can absorb your spouse's country of birth
Hmm.
in the essence of fairness in the eyes of the government. They don't necessarily want your spouse to wait just because you have to wait. So if your
Right.
spouse is born in a different country, let your employer know, let your stakeholders know, and let the attorneys know to make that judgment call for you. Because I have seen many an individual not realize that they're current just because they never had that question be prompted or even thought about it. So that's number
Yeah.
one. But when it comes to predictions and analysis, right? There's so many modeling mechanisms that are out there. I feel like you can go on Reddit and there's like a ton of people trying to like figure out like, okay,
Hmm.
based on last year's data compared to this year's data, this is what we're gonna do. I think what we have a tendency to forget is that even if the government to some degree uses data to make judgment calls, right,
Hmm.
we actually don't fully know. I think
Yeah.
it's really up to the discretion of whoever is responsible in that moment for publishing these visa bulletins to these,
Right.
right?
Right.
I think one thing that we do know is every single year, October is such an important month. And then the months
Exactly.
leading after that really show to what extent the government has an appetite of taking in applications. I'm going to be honest with you. I was pleasantly surprised that for the month of December, they're still going to take the filing dates chart.
Yeah.
I really thought that given like the level of demand that has been coming in, that we would be seeing an earlier swap to final actions compared to
Right.
but that hasn't been the case. So it gives me a method of pause, which is why is that the case? Is it that people are much more hesitant to apply for 45s? I don't think so. I think it's more so that maybe despite the influx of EB1As going into the pool, that not that many people have actually been approved, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Or circumstances have changed even for those in EB2s and lower, right? So I wish that there was definitely much more public data about this in terms of like, where did we find this judgment call of
Hmm.
not swapping to final action dates, right?
Yeah.
And why is it that the government is being so flexible in terms of their acceptance of filing dates, given that that has shifted so quickly, but final action has stayed, right? Is there an
Exactly.
interest in the government to pivot everyone into pending AOSs, right? Is it that we're trying to get some level of flexibility to get people out of the H-1B as like this whole entire underlying current of 4D chess between the government and the public? We don't know, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
100% my thoughts and my analysis to everything that's coming up is that it is pleasantly surprising that we're still doing filing dates. I think people should be considerate of that information in making judgment calls in the future. Is it that maybe that demand is not as high as we think, or a lot of people are not succeeding in getting these
Yeah.
cases?
Which is actually a good news because based on this Visa Bulletin chart, people are basing their lives on because they are figuring out, do I change a job, do I do the travel that I wanted to do I wait for applying for my 485, and it's a big deal for them because once they are into the AOA status, they get their EAD and AP card to do all these things that they have been struggling to do on their visas. So yeah, excellent point, Nicole. So before we close for today's, and I'm pretty sure we are going to invite you on the channel more often. It's been a pleasure meeting with you and pleasure introducing you to my audience. I really appreciate. Any final thoughts or any final things you want to tell my audience?
So I will say, before I even touch upon manifest
Mhm.
law, it's just like a general piece of advice for every single person who is watching this right now. I know that there's a lot of fear in the market, right? There's a lot of fear because we're in a very tumultuous year. It's a transition year. You're going from a very different administration to a completely different
Yeah,
administration this year, right? With
exactly.
very different focuses. And there's always this question of, am I doing enough? Am I good enough? Am I not good enough? Well, you won't know unless you even try and you even have
Hmm.
a conversation, right? I think whenever we talk about hesitancy, right? I'm looking at this visa bulletin, I'm trying to determine whether or not, I should make judgment calls related to my life because of this chart that gets published every month. Don't
Yeah.
feel like you have to make those judgment calls alone. Don't feel like you need to be self-driven. Like I think that's one thing that the COVID pandemic has accidentally created is this
Hmm.
self-driven bias. Like everything has to be just on me to figure out, right? Because I've had to do that during a pandemic. I think we need to refocus on, hey, the attorneys and these firms that we are here to help to give you a resource and manifest in particular, if I can add, like we really don't charge for being that resource, right?
Hmm.
If you come to us and you give us your information and you actually are willing to collaborate and work with us in providing that information. Like I think where things get tricky is when you do the intake process too easily. Like we have a quiz. There's a reason why we have this questionnaire is because we're trying to get the right information to give you the right
Right.
advice. So don't half-heartedly fill it out. Give us all the insights that you can so that we can have a productive conversation and also so you don't feel alone in making those judgment calls, right? We're really here to help. And if we can't help you in the moment, at least give you the direction and the insights that you need to start producing or building yourself into a better foundation to make some of these cases happen for you.
No, that's excellent points, Nicole. You are right on, and all of those. There is a lot of anxiety when people go through these visa bulletins months after months, and I've been doing this for a long time, and I have personally gone through this situation as well. So I have fully realized what people go through. But no, excellent conversation. I'm so glad that you came on my channel. So thank you so much for that, and I look forward to seeing you even in the future.
No worries. Thank you so much for having me, Mandar.